Hey, what's going on? I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. It's been about like 4 or 5 days since I uploaded a video, so sorry about the delay. Just been busy reading, learning more about coding, programming, all these different things. So in this video, we're going to use the PySimpleGUI, and we're going to create a simple basic calculator. This tutorial is more based towards beginners, things of that nature. Pretty much just getting you acquainted with PySimple and just learning more stepping stones to programming. In this video, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code Editor. I personally like this a little bit better than PyCharm. I've been using PyCharm in most of my other videos, but I have recently started using Visual Studio Code, which is really a really good IDE. So first things first, we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this, we'll just say calculator. .py. The .py, pretty much, whoa, there's already a file with the same name as the folder name. Okay, let's rewrite that. We'll just put calculator1.py. And pretty much what the .py does is signify that this folder, actually we don't have to do that. We're going to change that. We're going to put calculator, and then when we create our actual file in Python, we will name that the .py. So long story short, pretty much the .py is just signifying that this is a Python file. So we're going to go to File and Visual Studio Code. We're going to hit Open Folder, and you're going to select the calculator folder. Pretty much by doing this, you're setting this as your directory, and this is where we're going to put our Python folder in, or our calculator main file in. Once you do that, you're going to go over to your calculator folder. You're going to hit the new file, click new file. Oh, there we go. And we're going to call this file calculator main.py, and enter. There you go. You have your main Python file. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import PySimple. We're going to say import PySimpleGUI as SG. Once we're going to do that, we're going to define our function. Leave a comment here. Make sure you put a semicolon, not a, or make sure you put a colon, not a semicolon. We're going to say define the layout of the calculator GUI. For those of you who may not know, GUI means graphical user interface. So as you know, Python is an object-oriented language. So long story short, we're going to type out the layout of how we want the program to go, and then, or each section. Then after we do that, we're going to render that section, meaning that we're going to make it displayable where the user will be able to see it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to say layout, enter. And let me zoom in a little bit. I've noticed on some of my other videos, it's not that zoomed in. I want to make sure you guys are able to see that. Make that full screen. We're going to say layout, and we're going to say bracket. We're going to say sg.input size equals I hate those little comment things at times. I wish I'd get rid of this. And we're going to say comma, we're going to say key. One second, I got to get rid of this. This thing is driving me nuts. There we go. Key equals display. And like I said before, pretty much we are doing the layout of what we want to be displayed on the screen. So we got to get it all laid out, the numbers, the buttons on the calculator, and then we're going to render that. We're going to say justification equals right. And then we're going to get to the end right here. We're going to do comma. Then we're going to move on to the next part. Now we're going to start doing the buttons. We're going to say sg.button. And with that button, we're going to start with number 1 on the button of the calculator. Once we do that, we're going to move on to button number 2. And I know you could copy and paste this, but the purpose of this is you want to get the concept of this down. So I wouldn't recommend copying or pasting this. I would recommend just typing it out so you can get used to get familiar with the programming language and the setup for future reference. One of the things about programming, I'll give a little bit of a background on me. I've been learning how to code now going on about 8 months. And just let you know, the plus sign is for the button. The plus sign will be displayed on the button. So that's what we're doing right now, laying that out. But I've been learning how to program for about 8 months now, and started off learning Python, went to HTML, CSS, and now I'm diving into JavaScript. So the reason why I'm mentioning all this is one of the biggest errors that I had when I first started learning how to program was oh, hey, trying to memorize all this code and stuff like that. And when it comes to programming, you don't have to memorize code. The main thing is getting the concept down behind why you're doing what you're doing. It's about getting the concept down. If you get the concept down, you can always look up, if you don't know the answer to something, you can Google search it, things like that. So I just want to explain the importance of that, because when I started listening to some of these senior programmers, they were saying hey, don't focus so much on memorizing code, but focus more on understanding the concepts and why you're doing what you're doing. And then if you don't understand something, you can always Google search it, which is pretty cool. So I just want to say that so you don't spend all your time wasting your time trying to memorize individual code. Just really focus on concepts and understanding the why you're doing what you're doing. Once again, we're just doing the layout. We did the buttons row 4, 5, 6, and then we did the subtraction sign button right here. And now we're moving on to 7, 8, 9, 10, or 7, 8, 9, and the multiplication symbol. So a little bit about me, how I've learned or still continuously learning how to program, because learning how to code, learning how to program is not a end destination. It is literally a lifetime of learning, and a lot of senior programmers will tell you that people who've been doing this a lot longer than me. And if you want to get into programming, if you want to get into coding, you have to pretty much adopt that mindset that hey, this is going to be a lifelong journey. that you can be a big time programmer making $150,000 a year, and you're still going to always learn. Like a lot of the senior programmers that I listen to are coders. They all say the same thing, that they learn something new on the job every day. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. Don't think like, oh hey, I'm gonna learn how to code for 5, 6, 7 months, and then once I get that first job, I'm just gonna quit learning. You're gonna do yourself a lot of harm doing that, because technology is one of those things. Technology is always changing. It is continuously changing, and if you just get comfortable, you will you'll be left behind. So now that we did a layout for the button for 7, 8, 9, and the multiplication symbol, now we're working on our last row, which will be this row right here, a row. So like pretty much how I've learned how to program. I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but I feel like it works best for me. I try to read one programming book a week minimally. And what I do is I'll pick a subject. Like when I first started programming, I was like, hey, I'm going to learn Python. And for like 3 months, I'm just going to read books on Python, nothing else. I'm going to read books on Python, and I will, I'm going to keep reading books on Python and until it's like burned into my brain. That's pretty much what I told myself. And like what I did was like I spent like 3 months just reading books on Python, one after the other. And the way your brain works, you can look this up. This is scientific. Excuse me. Indigestion. Your brain, for you to store memory, long-term memory. Look, don't forget about that equal sign over here at the layout. That's my mistake. That's why I'm getting that red error symbol. Let's fix that real quick, and then I'll continue on with my little story. Layout equals. Why are we still getting that red symbol? Let's figure this out real quick. So sg.input size equals 20-1, comma key equals display. What am I doing wrong here? Justification equals right. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, there's got to be a reason why. I don't understand why I still have this red symbol right here. It's kind of driving me nuts. Let's figure this out real quick. Let's try something else. Layout equals. Let's see. You know what? I'll come back to that. Let's get the rest of this out, and we'll come back to that and figure it out if it's an issue. So, where was I? Okay, now we're going to create the window, and now we're going to render the whole layout we just did onto the window. So we're going to say, quick note, create the window. We're going to say window equals sg.capital W window simple calculator. I'm going to say layout, I'm going to return keyword underscore events equal true. And pretty much what we're doing right here is we're getting the setup to take everything we laid out and render on the screen so our user can see it and we can see it. So next we're going to be diving into the while loop. So the while loop pretty much is like the loop or the flow of how the program is going to work. So it's going to be, while this is true, while a certain event remains true, then this will keep happening. Otherwise, if this no longer is true and becomes falsy, then either the program will quit or it'll go a different direction. So, like I was saying, so I was like, hey, I'm going to start reading programming books every week. And I've been doing that consistently every month or every week, just reading programming books. Some books I read over and over again, but it's not just reading the books. Like, you want to read the books, and what you learn from the books, you want to put into practice. And the way I was saying, the way your brain works is that your brain stores long-term memory based on the more exposure you get to it. That's why we as human beings, we learn best when information is continuously given to us on a repetitive basis, because our brain registers it as like, hey, this is important information, so I better remember this. So here's our while loop. So we're saying while true, while true, event values. So while the values of the event are true, equals window.read. So while the information is true that's given, while that remains true, it will continuously be displayed on the screen. But this is our next point, which is to break the event loop. If the window is closed. So this is saying if event is equal to, I don't know why I say equal to, it's because you put two equal signs, but it's really equal to. So forgive me for that. So, and this is going to be all caps. Window underscore closed colon break. So this is the part of the program where if we close the calculator, then the program will close. It'll be done. So while we have the program open, the calculator will continuously work. But the moment that we close that program, or hit the exit button, then the program will end. Say handle underscore event. Yeah, like programming. I like this is gonna sound crazy, but well, it's not crazy. I think anyone who's programming or learning how to code or knows how to code would tell you the same thing. But what I like about coding, it helps you with your critical thinking. So, by trade, before I got into learning how to code, I'm a welder. And welding, you pretty much, you're learning pretty much with welding, you're a problem solver, but you're solving it in the sense of building things, doing repairs, things like that. What I like about programming is I believe that it helps you because you learn how to critically think, and it helps you think logically, and it helps you become a greater problem solver. Besides being able to build cool stuff, I would say one of the greatest benefits I've gotten from learning how to program is I believe it's helping me become more intelligent. And this isn't I'm not sponsored by anyone like this or anything like that, but I want to let you know something too. If you have any problems, and once again, I'm not a medical doctor, so make sure you check with your doctor before trying anything. I think something that's helped me out a lot learning how to code is whoops, let's fix that. Sorry. Getting a little ahead of myself. So this next part right here, before I jump back into my little story, So we're defining the handle event function. So it's saying as long as the current value that we laid out, it will be displayed on the window. So once again, we're setting up the display for that, so that everything we have will display on the window, so you and I and whoever's using this program can see it. But functional or adaptogenic mushrooms, like my biggest thing, like when I try reading like on my own, like I get a lot of like sometimes I get brain fog, and I started doing like research, and I started seeing these things like about like adaptogenic mushrooms, and like how they're really good for like helping you with focus and brain fog and all that. And I was like, at first I was like kind of skeptical, but I was like, heck, why not? I'll give it a try. So like I started off taking like lion's mane. I think it was like 2,100 milligrams, but it was like through what was it? It was like Doctor Email. It was like I ordered it off of Amazon, and like I took that. I was like, oh, cool. Like like I didn't notice anything immediately, but like after like a week or two, I started like noticing like the way I process information was a lot better. My short term memory became a lot better, and like I was just able to like memorize what I was reading. Like I took that for like a month. I'm taking like adaptogenic mushrooms now, going on like 4 months. So like I tried Dr. Email's stuff. It's like in this black container you can order off of Amazon. And then like I was like, okay, like what else could I try? That'd be cool. So like I started taking this, and this is probably the best supplement I've ever taken. It's called Rise. It's like Rise mushroom coffee, and it has like cordyceps, all this different stuff in there, like reishi, all this other stuff, and like really feel the difference, like physically, mentally, how you process information. So I'm just saying all this, like if you have a problem with like brain fog or anything like that, like I would say those mushrooms definitely helped me be able to like learn at a more efficient rate. Okay, so the part we did before is saying if event dot is digit, if a digit button is clicked, current value plus equals event. So what we're saying is that whatever the user, whatever button they push, display that onto the calculator. And we're saying now we're on the elif. Now I don't know, you may not know what elif means. Pretty much if else if statement. So pretty much it's saying if this is true, then go this route. Else, if this is not true, go a different route. Pretty much is like controls the flow of how the program is going to function based off of the input of the user. Okay. We'll just say if a user, or we'll say if a operator button is clicked. I'm not just going to assume, because everyone, we all don't know the same thing. We all know different information. I just want to make sure, if you don't know, like the asterisk is multiplication and this slash is division. And I'm not trying to insult anyone or anything like that. I just don't want to assume that we all like, I don't want to just assume we all know that, because, we all are constantly learning different things, and the way we perceive information is different as well. So plus equals event. Oh wait, no, I already did that. My bad. Oh, that's right. Sorry, it's like 2:38 in the morning here. I've been up for a while, but I like coding at night because I feel like it's pretty much where I got a lot of free time, things like that. I'm going to say elif event is equal if it's equal to. Don't say equal. I don't know. It's because the two equal signs that throws me off. Equals to the equal sign, and it will say if the button is clicked, try current, and I'll explain all this in a second. Value equals string. str means string. Just if you didn't know that. eval means evaluate the current value. Except syntax error, comma, 0 division error. I will explain all of this. Oh, and also it's always good to frequently save your information, because the last thing you want to do is delete it by mistake. So right here we're saying else if event. So we're saying if the user pushes, if the event is equal to the equal sign, if the equal button is clicked, meaning that if the user clicks that button, try the current value. So it's going to evaluate what the current value is, whatever that person places, like say 6 plus 3 or 9 plus 8 equals, then it's going to try to display that value. That's what the try function means. But it also has an except right here, which means that if the user tries to, if they put a syntax, like, they put the wrong kind of information into the calculator that the program cannot understand, or they try to divide by 0, then it's going to get the error. It's going to print out, or it's going to display on the screen error. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the next point. So, I think the reason why I'm learning how to program is just I'm tired of, and once again, I'm not trying to just talk all about me. It's just pretty much, I feel like it's always good to relate with people. And so, it's kind of like giving you my story and all that stuff. But pretty much it's just, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up. What's going on? Like the average or typical normal, quote unquote, like wage is not enough in America today. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to the fact to that. And like what I liked about programming is that pretty much, you always have the opportunity to grow. Not only in like your value and your knowledge, but like your income, things like that, which is always good. So like I think from what I've heard, and I've never, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never met a person that learned how to program and they're like, I regretted it. Learn how to code and said that they regret it. Every person I've ever watched and listened to, and don't get me wrong, like they say it has its challenges, but anything in life, it's always going to have its challenges. But pretty much, they all say like it changed their life greatly for them and their family. So like, yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to the fact that the typical wage or your average wage now is not enough in America today. Okay, so a quick explanation of what I just did. So the C is the clear button. So once again, this is another event saying if the clear button is clicked, then the current value will display it will display what the current value is. Like, so obviously if you hit the clear button, it's going to be blank. And now we're at the update the I'm sorry, update the display window. So this is pretty much us telling the computer, telling the program to update the current value. So if the user hits clear, then make sure that shows up on the calculator. If the user puts 6 plus 3, like we talked about before, equals, make sure it displays 9. Display on the calculator the final result of what has been inputted by the user. And now we're moved on to the last part. And this is the main loop that just gets everything flowing, the whole program going. So if name equal to main, now let's see if this will work. Once again, remember there was like a red line over where I had that the bracket for the layout. So we might have to go back and fix that. See layout, indentation area, error. See, that's another thing that's cool about like the terminal and things like that. Like, it will tell you what the issue is. If there's an issue, if Y doesn't work, it'll tell you like, hey, in this area, this is why this isn't working. So we need to indent that. And that should work. And then because we indented that, we have to do the same to everything else. Hey, what's up? Sorry about that. That's what I get for talking too much. Anyways, I just want to show you the error that I had. This is why the program was acting all funky. Hold on. Okay. So like we explained, this was very important, the layout. I didn't have the indentation right. So once I moved that over, I had to move the rest of these over. And then the other issue was, where is it at? The LF event equals to the equal sign. I didn't have the colon right there. So I'm just going to go slowly through my code so you can see it to make sure you have it right now that I went in and fixed it. And then once we do that, we'll hit the play button and you will be able to see the calculator. Just want to make sure you guys have this. And also, if I was able to offer you any value today, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my videos. I would really appreciate that. Okay, now that that's done, let's hit the play button. The play button runs the pretty much your program and gives you the result. And we have our calculator now. So we have 6 plus 3 equals 9. Let's test some other things out. We'll hit the clear button. Clear button works good. Let's do, see, 5 minus 2. Hit equal. You get 3. And let's try 9 divided by, or in here, let's do 3 divided by 6 equals 0.5. And now let's try dividing something by 0 and see if it gives us an error key or if it even reads it. So 5 divided by 0 equals error. So it worked out good. Once again, the whole, the calculator, It's a small project. It's nothing crazy, but the whole goal is not even so much the calculator. It's you to grasp the concepts behind how different functions work, how different packages work, things like that. It's all about getting the concept. So, thank you for your time. I hope you have a good day, good evening. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave a comment. If you see a better way that I can build this, feel free to reach out. I'm open to criticism. I think it's very important. It helps me grow as a programmer or as a person who codes. Thank you.